Hey guys, it's Ben the Coin Geek at Old Pueblo Coin, and OPC Sales is the name of our eBay website, oldpueblocoin.com. All products to find all these things for sale that you're looking for, and a little bit of history in your hands. We got some Thalers, mostly German, and some fabulous things. This is actually a half Thaler. The full Thaler would fill this whole cardboard and be a little thicker. And this is a pretty cool piece because you've got swords and more swords. Swords are bonus point. 1630 is the actual date. And I just like to look close. This is the Augsburg Confessions piece that's very popular. So it's a commemorative 1530 to 1630. Pretty cool how they did that. You know, sometimes we think of commemorative coins as being something that's kind of a newer thing, but of course they've been making commemorative coins for millennia. And that coin is, I think $4.75 is what we got that priced at. So these are wild. The 1643 Danish lion dollars. Dollar D-A apostrophe A-L-E-R, is that how that works? And these things are so fantastically crudely struck. The planchets are rarely actually all the way around. They were so uneven to start with that you can see, you know, the high points and low points. Now, there's plenty of early US coins that are struck like this. So you'll see places where there should be some design, like you figure that foot should have some design, or just flat pieces of metal. And then, but the leg is raised up with detail, and then flat again, and just super wild, super fun. 1643. So not that far removed from the previous coin. This one's $2.75 on this guy. This is actually a pretty high grade coin. You know, there's very little wear and there's a little bit of luster left to it, but hard to tell because they're so crude. They're just kind of fun. And see all the kind of like broken spots in the planchet. He's holding the keys. So pretty wild stuff. I like that one. So this is fun. This is a celebrating peace of Habsburg, 1763. And you see a pretty wild difference on this. This coin has a little bit of PVC on it. You see that green at that angle? Unless you're possibly red-green colorblind. And then do you see the white at that angle? Something to learn. Also something to note is just kind of the different types of security edges that they had on different coins. This is fun also about some of the earlier coins, just to see how they did the edges to protect themselves from counterfeits and to make sure people aren't shaving silver off the edges. 1763, and there's a shield and it looks like a sacrifice at the altar. Very neat looking piece overall. Then the back side we have a really big crest. Oftentimes you can locate things just based on the crest, as long as you memorize what all the crests are. Yeah, caveat to that, right? Pretty bold piece overall. That one we've got at $2.90 on that guy. Here's another fun commemorative. This is the Accession of August Philip. This is 1770 from Spire. And a lot going on here, right? This is going to battle the Texas commemorative for having details everywhere. There you've got a Wildman, which is cool. And you've got 3 crests, shields, another Wildman, crowns and swords, queens and kings and guillotines. Joanna Feinmark. This one's cool. And then all these, every time there's a dot here, that's the wording is being abbreviated. So they went with the 1770 and then the full Augustus, and then like all kinds of lettering to the glory of God. I think the SPIR is Spire for Spire. Hey, look at that. A Weiss guy. But lots of lettering on that. And then the obverse is really, really cool. This one is a little bit better. We had this at 440. But also very cool design. I always love the face on the sun, and the cherubs are super cool. And bees, always get bonus points for bees. But the cherubs here, looks like you've got some justice and peace. I think that this is the harvest. I think the bees help represent the harvest here because that looks like a cornucopia. But really, really neat as far as coins go. I like all the stuff that's going on there. And yet, some of the most popular coins are the, I guess you'd call simple, basic. The 1703 Wildman, and several of the city-states had Wildmen. And the Wildman looks so different in all of them, and some of them are super crude, and some of them are even cruder. Some guys have like a beer belly, some have a 6-pack. This guy has like a 24-pack. Look at all of his... He's got all kinds of stuff going on there, and then you can see the river cutting through the forest in the background. And this guy, I think we got priced at 200. And there's the date over here, the 1703. 24th of a grosch, 24 Marion grosch. And once again, you see the abundance of lettering to help you understand where the coin is from. And Brunswick Lunenburg is how that one's abbreviated. All right, here's another commemorative Nurnberg, the Free City, River Guard and arms at date. Light cleaning to this, but actually it has, I think it has a fairly natural little bit of a proof-like finish to it, even with the light cleaning. The reverse looks very natural. The obverse looks like it's got some cleaning going on. Once again, plenty of detail in the crest. So it's always interesting to see just how these guys are comparatively made from similar time periods. This one's got original Ira and Larry auctioneers Goldberg. Did I say that wrong? 1760. 1760, and you've got a lot of detail here. And they describe him as the river god, and you see he's pouring all the water out of all the vessels going into the river. Back to the big and bold and crude. This piece from 1658 from Hungary. Ferdinand III here. Lots of familiar looking symbols with the double eagles. But once again, you just see how crude this is compared to the other ones. Everything looks like it's been re-engraved and doubled. 1658. I mean, I don't even know what that letter is. That H has been re-engraved like 18 times. Or maybe, possibly this is just from the strike, actually. If you look at the R and all this stuff going on there. Not re-engraved, but maybe it's just, you know, the thing gets punched and it reverberates several times. But this is, I always like the coins that just look kind of funky and chunky, like this guy. You know, just kind of big and bold. That guy, that was 160. This is 440. I think, trying to remember, I think I had priced him up. All right, next up we have another German state, Regensburg, with a city view. So one of my favorite things that many Thalers have on them is a city view. Here you have a very bold portrait on this piece. And what does the edge look like? Once again, you have that security edge on there. But the city views are just awesome. I mean, people are probably pretty proud of their city, and it kind of takes you back in time. And, you know, it's a historical marker. So 1762, you know, what did the city look like? You know, and can you get this view of the city today? What would it look like from the same vantage point? Can you see some of the same buildings? It looks like the bridge with the river right here running through. So, but the city views are always fun on some of those earlier pieces. That one's a little bit more pricey, higher grade. You know, for higher grade, funny because Thalers are almost like barber coinage, and for those of you who collect barbers, maybe you caught that right away. But it's like they either come in VG or XF and better. There doesn't seem to be a whole lot of middle grades. Here is one more city view. See, this is really funny. I just put down the coin and lost it. Regensburg. Now we're going to go over to Nurnberg. So 1768 and 1762. And you know, I have no doubt that some of these city-states probably were trying to outdo each other, both for beauty, and there's the all-seeing eye, that's kind of fun, and 1768, you know, but also I'm sure that somewhere someone was trying to outdo each other on coins. You know, how did your coin look? Well, our coin looked better. This one has the river coming towards you, and the profile of the city there. And then some more double eagles. Really, really nice design on this piece. Very smooth. You know, it's funny because the difference between these two pieces, and this one's pretty refined, but once again, you're talking about, on some of these pieces, you're not talking about a huge difference in time, and yet the crudeness factor, 1658, this one's 100 years later, but sometimes they'll be really close in age, and their crudeness will be dramatically different. I guess it probably depends on who was making the coins and how much money they had, because like these half Thalers and Thalers from the Reformation, really nicely designed, not that crude, from the 1630s compared to a Wildman from 1700, which is oftentimes not any more advanced. So, all right, guys, there you go. There are some Thalers. I don't get them in too often, but I always have fun with them when I do. Thanks so much for watching. I'm Ben the Coin Geek. You can subscribe by clicking on the owl button in the corner and watch more videos on the right side of the screen.